Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome on this Friday, September 8th. It's a Fact Check Friday. Yeah. Happy Fact Check Friday, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, we're diving headfirst into a Latin phrase that should be the reflex of every news consumer out there. Cui Bono. Yeah, Cui Bono. The timeless question that should echo in your mind every time you read a news story, every time you click a headline, every time you watch a segment. Because it's not just about what's presented, it's about who's benefiting from the narrative being spun. Yeah. Cui Bono, the unsung hero of critical thinking. You see, folks, it's not enough just to be passive consumers of news. We need to be an active skeptic. Let's talk about story selection. Turn on the TV. What do you see? It's not the latest celebrity scandal. It's a political catfight. But who benefits from this constant barrage of sensationalism? The news networks. That's who. Because they know that scandal sells. And the narratives they craft, oh boy. That's where the real magic happens. Take the war on terror, for example. We were told we were fighting for freedom and democracy. But cui bono? Who really benefited? Arms manufacturers, defense contractors, and anyone with a stake in the military-industrial complex. You know you're in trouble when Halliburton stock starts outperforming Tesla. Yeah. So, my friends, here's your homework for the week. The next time you read a news story or watch a YouTube video, ask yourself, cui bono? Who benefits from this narrative? Who benefits from this spin? From this headline? Because understanding that is the first step toward media literacy and staying informed, and not just entertained. And remember, when it comes to news, it's not just about what they're telling you. It's about who benefits from what they're telling you. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. My goodness. What a massive crowd of people we got in here today. Hey, chat, what's up? Thanks for participating in the chat. We're talking about cui bono, spelled with a C. I don't know why. In my head, it should be a Q, but I'm not an expert in Latin. Anyway, cui bono in relation to understanding the news, it's like asking who benefits from this news story. In other words, when you come across a news report, an article, a headline, consider who might gain something politically, financially, or otherwise from the way this information is being presented. And it helps you look beyond the surface and understand potential motivations and biases that could influence how this story is being told to you. So that is the big idea. I know it's not a big idea Wednesday, but that is the idea because it's really important when it comes to fact checking. Who benefits from this fact check? Oh, yeah. So it is a Fact Check Friday. We got a couple fact checks to get to, but the first story that I want to get to is kind of breaking news. It's about the Democratic primary. All right. Did you hear about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. accusing the DNC of stacking the deck? Yeah, what else is new? It's like they're playing a game of Monopoly. And they've already built hotels on Boardwalk and Park Place, while the other candidates are stuck in the go directly to jail space. You know it's serious when even chance and community chest cards are labeled Biden wins. But hey, in their defense, maybe they just misunderstood when we said we wanted more transparency in politics. Okay? So here's the story. RFK Jr. has accused the DNC of deliberately undermining the democratic process within the Democratic Party. He claims the DNC is effectively preventing a fair primary and is favoring the incumbent, President Biden. Kennedy points to the DNC's actions such as moving the Iowa primary and imposing rules that would nullify votes in certain states if a candidate campaigns there. He suggests these actions are aimed at making it nearly impossible for him to win the nomination, even if he were to win a significant number of states. Kennedy is open to exploring alternative options if the DNC continues to rig the process against him, emphasizing the importance of offering his supporters a viable path to victory rather than merely making a statement. He hopes the DNC will make the contest more equitable, allowing for a real chance for candidates other than the chosen incumbent to succeed. So this is real interesting. The DNC is full of dirty tricks. If you were to look up dirty tricks in the dictionary, you would not see the DNC because that's how influential the DNC is. But I guess they're voting on these rules on the 14th of this month. So next week they're gonna vote on this. But some of the stuff that's in there is that they might want to make RFK pay for the primary. They say, hey, we already have our candidate. It's Joe Biden. So if we've got to do a primary, well, then the people that want the primary should have to pay for it. Really? Does that sound democratic to you? Some other stuff that was in there. One of the things that was proposed was that if you campaign in New Hampshire, see, they've forbidden anyone from campaigning in New Hampshire or Iowa because those were the original states that were first in the country. And, well, in the previous election, Biden didn't do very well in either of those states. So what they said is, you know what? They can't be the first primary states anymore. And if they choose to hold their primaries first, we're going to punish anyone that campaigns there. So one of the proposals was if you campaign in New Hampshire, we're going to take away all your Georgia delegates. What? Oh my God. That sounds like cheating, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. The key thing that I saw in this interview with RFK Jr. I wrote down here is, quote, I need to look at other alternatives. Yeah. I think that the DNC is probably, you can fact check me on this. I can't think of a more corrupt, crooked organization. I can't, but you know what? I am not the most creative person in the world. If you can think of a more crooked organization than the DNC, please let me know in the comments. I can't think of one, but maybe there are. Maybe there's another organization that's more crooked than the DNC. If you know, please let me know, because I'm trying to come up with different things to say about this. But yeah, he may need to look for alternatives that might be running as a third party. And if he did that, oh boy. I don't think that would be a good thing for the Biden campaign. So they really got to be careful, tread lightly on this. But it is a Friday. It's a Fact Check Friday. So let's fact check Rolling Stone, shall we? Okay. Rolling Stone. They had a whopper this week. Is it just me? I always thought in previous decades, Rolling Stone used to have some really good journalism, right? They also used to have some really good journalists as well. Well, apparently they're throwing all that away. So let's take a look at this. Was a tweet. Let's check this out here. So this was the original tweet here. Let me see if I can. It says, we're all DeSantis supporters, one marcher shouted. And then we got this really scary dude with a bedazzled swastika hanging from his neck. What's this say? Video shows angry neo-Nazis cursing and screaming slurs during march in Florida. Well, let's check out the story, shall we? This is an archived version here. Video shows angry neo-Nazis cursing and screaming during a march in Florida. This is from September 3rd. This is just the beginning, the leader of a neo-Nazi group, Blood Tribe, warned. This is, and the author of this article is Peter Wade. You can do a search on everything that Peter Wade covers, and you will understand that he does have a particular political bias. Typically, Peter Wade writes about how bad Trump is. That Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump's going to jail, Trump's evil, Trump is crooked. That's typically what he writes about. Not a whole lot of variety in his articles. But here we go. Members of white supremacist and anti-Semitic hate groups marched outside Orlando, Florida on Saturday, screaming, raising the Nazi salute and yelling, Heil Hitler and white power. We're everywhere. I think there's about a dozen of these guys. Neo-Nazis can be heard shouting in a video shared by former member of the Florida House of Representatives. Later in the footage, they yelled Heil Hitler while performing a Nazi salute. Oh boy, this is terrible. And days before the march, the Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism warned it was coming. Two extremist groups, the Goyim Defense League and Blood Tribe, are planning to gather in Florida for a joint public demonstration they're calling the March of the Red Shirts, the center said in a community advisory shared via email on Thursday. ADL described the Goyim Defense League as a loose network of individuals connected by their virulent anti-Semitism with an overarching goal to expel Jews from America. Wow, that's scary. Organization characterizes Blood Tribe, led by white supremacist Pullhouse, as a growing neo-Nazi group that claims to have chapters across the U.S. and Canada. Okay. So these two groups together, they were able to gather up about a dozen people for their big rally. But when we go down here, see, some of the members individually expressed their distaste for Donald Trump, saying they prefer Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. When a right-wing figure, Laura Loomer, appeared at the march recording the neo-Nazis with her cell phone, the crowd began to chant some stuff I'm not going to repeat in her direction. We're not voting Trump, Laura, one member shouted at her. We're not voting for the right wing. He's something something. And another marcher shouted, we're all DeSantis supporters. We're all DeSantis supporters. How about that? We're his biggest supporters, they claimed, before saying that his support for legislation combating anti-Semitism is smoke and mirrors. Okay. And it ends the story by saying, we're Ron DeSantis supporters, another member says. We like Ron DeSantis. So here this is. Right here you can see that's how this article ends. The last most important line in the article. Right here it says, we're Ron DeSantis supporters, another marcher said. We like Ron DeSantis. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Well, Turns out that's only part of the story. Let's look at the revised article. Okay. We'll scroll down to the revised article. And here I've highlighted what they've added in when they've updated the article a few days later. The marcher followed up his comment with F. Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Okay. So the video is, they asked who they support. They say, we love Ron DeSantis. F Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Does it sound to you like they're big Ron DeSantis supporters? No, it doesn't sound like that at all. But yet, even in this updated article, the last line, see if I can scroll down here to see, we're Ron DeSantis supporters, another marcher said. We like Ron DeSantis. How about that? So here's the update that they gave. The original version of this article quoted a marcher saying we're all Ron DeSantis supporters, without including his second remark, F Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Ron DeSantis is a joke. The story's been updated. Well, that just doesn't totally change the entire meaning of the entire story. This is on video, okay? This is on video, and the author chose to omit when he said, F Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a joke. Who benefits from this original story? And again, people see the original story, they don't see the follow-up. That's just how it works. So if you make an honest mistake, do you think that was an honest mistake? I don't. I don't at all. And I don't think anyone should believe that. That would be, I can't imagine a high school journalism student making a mistake that bad. And here you are working for Rolling Stone, and you omit that part of the story? Well, that's, how can this guy have a job? And if this guy still has a job at Rolling Stone, which he does, what does that tell you about Rolling Stone and their integrity for giving you the facts, giving you the truth? Well, to me, it tells me they don't care about the truth. They don't care about facts whatsoever. And I think this damages the credibility of all of Rolling Stone. I mean, yes, maybe not every single journalist that they have lies like this guy does, or makes a mistake. But it damages the credibility of the entire publication. And I don't think anyone should ever take anything seriously that comes out of Rolling Stone ever again. That's my opinion. And if you believe anything that Rolling Stone ever says, after seeing this, and he wasn't fired over it, do they not have an editor? And the editor keeps their job? Well, that tells you what you need to know about Rolling Stone. But also, I want to bring in this idea of Cui Bono. Like, who benefits? You know, they're making the claim about this big, scary Nazi. This big, scary... I have been aware of Goyim Defense League for years. It is an internet trolling campaign. That's what it is. It's internet trolls. It's not real. Okay? Now, yes, it's real that people do troll. Are trolls always sincere? I can't mind read, and neither can you. But I know people that post on Twitter and And, they love the New York Giants. And anyone that says anything about the New York Giants, they may say horrendous things against anyone that disparages the New York Giants. Does that mean that they actually believe what they're saying, or are they just having some fun online? Right? Because a lot of times they could just be having some fun online. This, last week, there was a big hashtag cancel the ADL. And the ADL brings in millions and millions of dollars because they're fighting anti-Semitism. And, if you're fighting anti-Semitism and you're not seeing a whole lot of anti-Semitism around, well, you're probably not going to be bringing in a whole lot of money. So who would benefit from, I don't know, a dozen people having a little march about, those Jews are bad, right? Who would benefit from that? I can't think of anyone that would benefit more than the ADL. I can't think of anyone that would benefit more than the ADL. So you just got to ask yourself, Cui Bono, who benefits from this? Yeah. Now, I don't have any evidence that the ADL hired these guys. I don't think that it would be that direct, and I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying who benefits from this. That's all you got to ask. Who benefits? Anyway, let's get to some other news. It's a Friday. We got some other news. We got a whole world of news to look at. So, let's see. Let's go south. All right, time for some bad jokes. Oh, look, my Chiron's messed up here. Let's see if I can fix that. How about... There we... No. How about that? There we go. Folks, they say Mexico is ready for a female president. But let me tell you, with all this machismo still floating around, it's like they're trying to convince a taco stand that it's time to serve tofu. Speaking of tacos, did you hear about Xochitl Galvez? She went from selling street food to running for president. Now, that's what I call talk about an impressive career change. Oh man, bad puns. Bad wordplay. Wordplay is the best, isn't it? Right? Anyway, Mexico's ruling party has nominated Claudia Sheinbaum as its candidate for the presidency, making her the second woman from a major political movement to compete for the position. She faces challenges due to entrenched male chauvinism in Mexico, as evidenced by low female candidate turnout in previous elections. The opposition candidate, Xochitl Galvez, is emerging as a strong contender. Concerns exist regarding how the military would accept a female commander-in-chief. While women have made strides in politics, gender violence remains a significant issue. Galvez's outsider image may resonate with voters seeking change in the political landscape. So this is the big deal. We got two major candidates in Mexico for president, and they're both women. So, probably the next president of Mexico will be a woman, and they've beat us in that race. If that's an important race, I would be in favor of having a woman president, but you're gonna need to give me a good candidate. In my opinion, there have been women candidates that I've really liked, and some that I think have been probably some of the most crooked politicians in the history of the world. So, yeah. Anyway, sounds like Sochi. Thank you. I I wasn't sure how to say her name, but it's Xochitl Galvez. Thank you, Erie Ferry. Thank you for the correction on the pronunciation. But here we go. Mexico is going to have a girl boss. Oh man, wake up, Tom. So that's kind of interesting. Interesting news. They beat us to it. They beat us to it. And since we're doing international politics, we got one more. You know, folks, they say these new Chinese laws could criminalize comments that, quote, harm the feelings of the country. Well, if that happened here, half of Twitter would be behind bars by now. Your Honor, I didn't mean to hurt America's feelings. I just tweeted a meme. It's a good thing we have the First Amendment, or we'd all be in trouble expressing ourselves as clearly as a politician in a scandal. Yeah. So there's a proposed changes to the Chinese public security law that could criminalize comments, clothing, or symbols that undermine the spirit or harm the feelings of the nation. Don't you love air quotes? Legal experts are concerned about potential arbitrary enforcement, of course, and there's a growing unease about the authoritarian rule of President Xi Jinping. Legal scholars and citizens are calling for the removal of certain draft articles and expressing worries that the changes could increase censorship. No kidding. The Parliament Standing Committee has not responded to these concerns yet, and the amendments aim to update a 2005 law without specifying the details. Well, how about that? So this one right here that I have of Xi Jinping as a Winnie the Pooh, that's already banned in China. But this new ban would be anything that might hurt the feelings or damage the reputation of their country. You can go to jail for that. So that's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm so glad that something like that would never happen in this country. Oh, that would never happen in this country. You know, folks, it's a strange time when we see someone like Owen Schroyer facing charges for speech-related crimes right here in the U.S. I mean, that sounds more like a communist China thing, doesn't it? We used to be the land of free speech, not you can say anything you want, but there might be a penalty for it. You've got to be careful. I mean, next thing you know, they'll be telling us we can't tweet without government approval. I hope I didn't just give them an idea. So here's the story. InfoWars' Owen Schroyer pleaded guilty in June to a single Class A misdemeanor of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds on January 6, 2021 at the U.S. Capitol. He was initially charged in August 2021, 8 months after the event. After nearly 2 years of fighting charges, Schroyer decided to plead guilty to a lesser charge. He allowed the government to review his social media accounts in their search for incriminating evidence. On that day, he stood outside the Capitol with Alex Jones, warning people not to enter, believing it was a setup. Now, despite their actions, he was arrested later on what some consider bogus charges. Currently, the Department of Justice prosecutors are seeking 120 days in prison time for Owen Schroyer, alleging speech crimes. You heard me right. The DOJ is seeking 120 days in prison for him for speech crimes. Well, it's a good thing we're not in China, right? It's a good thing we're not in China. And it is interesting. So I did, I'm looking at this. This story is really only being covered on some right-wing blogs. So and it's not being covered by any mainstream media. So take that for what it is. again, it's interesting that this would not be covered in corporate news. Does that mean that the reporting that I got on it is 100% accurate? Well, I'm not sure. And with a lot of these things, it's hard for me to verify, right? That's what we're supposed to count on journalists to do, right? But, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this story and let you know in the future what's going on with it. But 120 days for speech crimes. Nice. Well, damn it. I guess we need some good news. We always need some good news. I like to end the day, end the show with some good news. So here we go. Oh, you know, this rhino story is like a high-stakes game of hide and seek. A conservation group buys 3,000 rhinos to set them free in secret locations. It's like the rhino version of witness protection. Yeah, here's the story. A major conservation NGO, that's non-governmental organization, has purchased the world's largest privately owned rhino herd to rewild them over the next decade. The herd of over 2,000 white rhinos, originally bred for sustainable horn harvesting, was sold due to financial challenges. Africa's biggest wildlife NGO, African Parks, bought the entire herd and secured funding for their relocation and rewilding in southern Africa. These rhinos represent 15% of the remaining wild population. African Parks has experience in wildlife translocations, and experts believe the rhinos, which were semi-wild, will adapt well to their new homes. And so, you know what? This is really a way to make things happen. Just buy them, right? You want to save the rhinos, just buy them. Just buy the rhinos, put them in a place that they can't be hunted, right? That's what we do. You know, obviously we have disparities in wealth, right? And, but if we're so concerned about things, put your money where your mouth is. If we're so concerned about, like, I don't know, the Amazon being destroyed, why don't the U.S. government, if they're so concerned about, if they think it is an existential threat to life on this planet, why wouldn't we take, I don't know, the hundreds of billions of dollars that we're sending to Ukraine, use that money to, I don't know, just buy part of the rainforest and make it rainforest sustained forever? Why wouldn't we buy hundreds of acres of rainforest rather than, you know, I don't know, laundering money through the military-industrial complex? Ask yourself, cui bono, right? Who benefits, right? But I do think that this is an example of what can be done for good things. So you want to make sure that these rhinos are preserved? Great. Put together money, buy them, and you know, get an area that they can be. That's smart. That's what should be done. If we really care about things, we need to do what we can to make it happen. I'm looking here. What is... Just checking. Is Rumble not working today? Oh, it is. Okay, good. Wasn't sure about that. Just checking. But that's what can be done. Oh, it is. And if someone has a lot of talk, but they're not doing anything, but that's what kind of tells you what you need to know. And okay. So they were actually able to do something with these rhinos. They're going to rewild them. That's the word of the day, rewild. I've never heard that word before. So they were actually able to do something. But yeah, you get the money together, you buy them. We should be doing that with the rainforest. We should be doing that. You know, if we really care about like the forest fires that are happening, you buy them. in the West. We should be doing that with the rainforest. Why don't we put money toward making sure that there's not forest fires? We really care about like the forest fires that are happening. Instead, we're taking all our money, packaging it up, and we're putting it on pallets and shipping it to Zelensky. Instead, we're taking all our money. Kind of tells you packaging it up, and we're putting what they think is really important, right? To Zelensky. Because if they're not actually doing anything, it's all talk. It's all talk, right? Anyway, but I think that's good news. I think that this is an example of what can actually be done if you actually want to do something good. Save the rhinos. I love it. Anyway, bad echo. If you actually want to do something good. Don't know what happened with the echo. I love it. So let's see. Anyway, bad echo. If you actually want to do. All right, fix the echo. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened there. Don't know what happened. Gotta keep me on my toes. Technology. There we go. But I'm working on. I'm actually working on behind the scenes. I'm working on all kinds of new stuff. I really can't wait to share it with you, and that's probably why I haven't been. I'm still making mistakes with the echoes here. So anyway, sorry about that echo. Yikes. But that's all I have for you today. Stick around for the after show. I'm going to go through all your comments, and I'll be back on Monday. So I'll see you then. Have a good weekend. Peace. Yes, lots of echo. Lots of echo. We did fix it. Thank you, Natasha, with your stop signs. I was able to see that right away, so I do appreciate that. Lucid Moments checking in. Erie Ferry. Hey, Tom. Hey, chat. I'm glad that you can listen while you're at work. That's pretty cool. You can pay anyone to put on an outfit and take a picture. It's propaganda. Or the FBI will do it for free. Also, it's the alphabet mob. Yeah, it's tricky with these things. And again, you just look at who benefits from this. Who benefits from this? It doesn't mean that you can prove it. Right? You can't prove, you can't read minds. You can't prove, unless you, you don't know who's being paid to do things. But looking at motives is, looking at who benefits really can tell you to motives in things. Do you think they're really trying to make Ron DeSantis look bad? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the point of that was. Although I do think it was very, very beneficial for the ADL. That's for sure. That's for sure. And it's interesting. I did see on X, on Twitter, someone went and showed across the country all of the ADL offices and who they share office space with. The ADL may share office space with the FBI? I mean, what are the odds of that? That's not sus, is it? Right? Oh, man. I remember the media badgering President Trump over this very thing. Yeah, Rolling Stone and their ivermectin story. At the hospital in Oklahoma, people with gunshot wounds waiting for treatment while wearing winter coats in summertime. Yes, thank you for the reminder of that. That was an absolute propaganda article by Rolling Stone, where they used, yeah, again, it was like summertime, and the pictures were of people wearing winter coats. They made the claim that people taking ivermectin were filling up the hospitals so that people with COVID couldn't get the help they needed because so many people were taking ivermectin and were going to the hospital. It was all 100% BS. And yes, it was pushed very hard by Rolling Stone. I should make just a list of like Rolling Stone, right? And then give like the top 10 absolute BS propaganda articles that they've done in the past couple of years. Just as a refresher. So anytime we talk about the Rolling Stone, I could just go through the list of all the BS that they put out there. That might be helpful. I troll every day online. Well, I hope that's fun. I hope you have fun with that. And because I think it should be fun, right? Trolling should be fun. AOC went from being a waitress to being in Congress. Well, I think she was actually a bartender at a fancy cantina in New York City. Yeah. Oh, you have a cousin with that name. That's how you know that it's Sochi. I need to work on some of those X words in Spanish. I know that's something I need to work on. A girl running a hot dog stand is a great candidate for president of Mexico. You know, look who we have running our president, right? I don't know. I might prefer a girl running a hot dog stand to the current guy. What's China got against Winnie the Pooh? Exactly. Owen should not have pled out. I'd say it was more over financial burden than doing anything he thought was wrong. It's tough. You know, often what they will do is they will make the trial the punishment, right? So if they make you go to trial for such a long time, right, that's the punishment, and you can't get that back. And if it keeps going on and on and on, it's like, well, is there anything I can do to just make this stop? Right? So pleading out to a misdemeanor, he thought he would be done with it, and now they're asking for 120 days for his speech. Do rhinos really stomp out campfires? Don't know. And yeah, we got the echo. Keep threatening new stuff. Yes. I know. I keep threatening new stuff. I keep threatening a new show. It's never my intention, it's my intention to have actually started it by now. But things take longer than we want. That's just it. Yes, top 10 Rolling Stone BS articles. Do it, Tom. Make it the title of the video. Maybe you'll get thousands of views, or maybe you'll get canceled. Well, I'm already canceled, right? I'm already hidden in Google. I'm already hidden in the search results, so I guess I can't be any more canceled. I guess they could delete the channel, but yeah. I guess I'll work on that. You got me on that one, Tom. Look what we got running our country. Exactly. Hang in there, Tom. Remember, your increased viewership should be somewhat exponential based upon word of mouth. I think it's a great channel. Well, thanks, Doc BTW. Channel's been shrinking every day this year, so we'll see how that works. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Be back on Monday, and I will have another great show. Yeah, and you're still waiting for the all right jar. Okay, point taken, Lucid. Point taken. You got me there. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you Monday. Peace.